Thank you and welcome back. Now, yesterday's trading ended with 5 top participants that we saw yesterday having some very good volumes trading. And we ended the day with 5 gainers still and 5 bottom losers. The gainers were led by Wumeme Limited, who came in the very first place. And Wumeme has had some fair share of a bad time on the market, but we're seeing that yesterday was a good day for Wumeme after he came out at the top of the stock with an appreciation of over 5.26% in price to end the day with a price of 200 Ugandan shillings. KCB Bank, Kenya Commercial Bank, came in the second place with a total gain of 2.61% and closed the day with 1,357.29 Ugandan shillings. Whereas Centum Investment Company came in with a 1.29% gain as well, closing the day with a price of 306.89 Ugandan shillings. Equity Bank Limited was the third gainer in a row, and we can see that he came in with a 0.31% gain and closed the day with the price of 1,568.61 Ugandan shillings. MTN Uganda as well was the 5th gainer, who gained by 0.1%. If you recall, yesterday MTN closed opened the market, but with a price of 185.0. Now, well, he gained some value on that and added about 0.1 Ugandan shillings, 0.18, and closed the market with a price of 185.18. Significantly to note, these are all, we have 3 cross-listed equities, that is KCB, Centum, and EBL, and only 2 cross domestic companies, which is a good balance as we can see. And on the losing side, we had Uganda Clays come out last and ended the day with a price depreciation of 2.16% on the losing side, and closed the day with a market price of 18.9 Ugandan shillings. We also had Nation Media Group, who lost also and closed after losing about 0.72% off their price, closing the day with 640.45 Ugandan shillings closing price. Jubilee Holdings Limited also lost on the market yesterday after losing 0.42% to close the day with a price of 7,964. And then we had Kenya Airways at 124.51 closing Ugandan shillings closing price after shedding off 0.22% of their price valuation. And then East African Breweries Limited at the 100-year brewery there in Kenya lost about 0.05% only, closing the day with 5,039.05. And when we look at the index, the Uganda All-Share Index, as a result of this performance, still moved up regardless of the losers, and it moved up by 7.96, which is one of the highest movements we have seen at least this week, and that was a 0.61% points increase to close at 1,311.23 points at the moment. And this represents a 1-week gain of 0.63% and a 4-week gain of 3.96% on the Uganda Securities Exchange All-Share Index, which is the benchmark index really for all the listed companies on the stock market. And we can see an overall year-to-date loss still of 7.7% of the Uganda Securities Exchange All-Share Index. And if you can have a look at the graph of the All-Share Index, we can see that the index steadily is rising away from, of course, where we are. We had seen it as low as 1,200 points earlier on in July, to right now moving into the 1,300s. And yeah, it's a positive climb at the moment. We're seeing it come up almost the third day of gaining during this particular very tough economic time that the exchange has also gone through. As you can see the curve there, we saw that last year in December 2021, we were at 1,000 almost 400. Yeah, 1,400. And the previous months there still, the stocks were high up there at over 1,600 points. And right now, yes, we can say that the trend is returning. We are returning to the 1,400 mark. Of course, today we are seeing it at 1,300, but with very great hopes that this index will go up even more in the coming few days. Now, for the USE local companies, the local company index also increased. And this was due to the gaining, of course, of Umeme together with MTN on the local companies' counters. And of course, we're seeing that the local company index went up by 0.28% to reach 274.09 points, making it a 1 week gain of 0.86% of the local companies and a 4 week loss of 0.44% and a year-to-date loss of 15.58%. That is in terms of the local companies. And so that is the index. Of course, the index tracks the performance of these particular companies on aggregates, and the index looks at the average performance. And if you don't want to have details into how a particular exchange is doing, you just look at their indices. The indices gives you a good picture of what is really going on in the market. And we can see that both the all share index and the local company index of the Uganda Securities Exchange have seen some improvement over yesterday's trading. And now let's look at Umeme. Umeme came out as the top gainer this time round on the Uganda Securities Exchange. This is after, of course, a very rough time that Umeme went through. We even had to analyze and break down for you how this, rough stock for Umeme came about after, of course, losing several value. You look at the value being lost over on the year-to-date loss. You look at the value that was lost on the 3 months strategy, but we're also seeing that right now the company is picking up and regaining strength. Umeme has been listed on the USE since November 30th of 2012, and the counter trades under the ticker symbol UMEM, and it has the international securities identification number of UG00001145. And Umeme Limited currently is the 10th most valuable stock. And when we talk about value, we're talking about capitalization. They have a total market capitalization of 325 billion Ugandan shillings. And they are currently possessing 1.44% of the entire Uganda Securities Exchange equity market. Now, yesterday, if you look at the graph for Umeme Limited, they gained at 10 shillings. They came at 10 shillings, and we're seeing that these 10 shillings was, of course, coming to bringing the price to 200, exactly 200 shillings on the stock market yesterday, and it was a 5.26% gain in the price of Umeme Limited. And we're seeing that the traded volume was 2,000 shares and a gross turnover of over 400,000 shillings that was traded on these 2,000 shares yesterday. And the shares outstanding are currently at 1.62 billion Ugandan shillings, and the market capitalization is currently at 325 billion as earlier when shared. Now that's the graph there of the performance of the Umeme Limited, which is the counter we are looking at the moment. And you can see, according to that graph, when we look back 6 months ago, and we look also back 1 year ago, year to date, and 3 months and 4 weeks, of course, we come up with this analysis. Just for yesterday, we recorded a 5.3% gain over the previous closing price of 190 Ugandan shillings. Umeme, however, began the year with 189 Ugandan shillings and has since gained an overall 5.82% on that price valuation, ranking it at the 4th in terms of year-to-date performance. Investors should, however, take caution that Umeme, as you can see, has registered some recent poor performance, having lost 13% of its value in 4 weeks. So based on 4 weeks ago, exactly 1 month ago, Umeme has lost over 13%. But based on a daily gain yesterday, it has gained 5.26% on their price valuation. Umeme currently, however, ranks the second most traded stock on the Uganda Security Exchange over the past 3 months. And it has traded a total volume of over 28.7 million shares within this period of the last 3 months. And these total shares of 28.7 million shares are valued at 6.83 billion Ugandan shillings over the period, and an average of about 456,274 traded shares per session. Now, when we are looking at a particular performance for this, when we look at a stock, we want to analyze their year-to-date, but also look at their trading volumes. In terms of trading volumes, Umeme is the second most traded stock, and we're seeing that in terms of year-to-date, Umeme is still coming in the losing position of course, within the last 4 weeks at 13% loss, and within the year-to-date performance, it's coming in the position number 4, according to how the year began for the company and how it has been moving over the last couple of weeks. But we can see also they have a very good trading volume, which is a very good indicator of growth and something that investors should be on a lookout for as well. They have also had a volume high of 7.44 million, which was achieved on the 20th of May 2022 within this same period. And within the last 10 days, you can see they have traded some very good volumes with 2,000, then 4,800 on the 8th of August. On the 5th, they also traded 11,000 and so on. And these are some of the market activities that we are seeing on the Umeme Limited counter here on the market. Is Umeme a tradable stock? Yes, Umeme is a tradable stock. According to at least the volumes they are trading, according to the people, the amount of shares we are looking at here on the market, according to the price movements, we're seeing it's quite a bit stable. It went down a bit from the 2025 mark, which we saw, of course, as a peak for the month of July, during the month of also June, where they were trading above 225. But at least it's an opportunity, at least for you and I, to be able to purchase some Umeme stock. And during this time in June and July, of course, the company had declared a dividend of over 54.9 Ugandan shillings this year per share. And of course, that drove the markets crazy, with very many people coming up with of course, to buy, to be able to become shareholders within this particular company. And yeah, we're hoping for the best for Umeme. If you want to buy stock in Umeme right now, the opening price was 200 shillings at the Uganda Securities Exchange. You can reach out to your stockbroker and be able to see if you can have that particular transaction settled within the next 3 days. Remember, the stock market settling days is about 3 days of the week. So if you buy stock today, you might expect it on your account either on Friday or Monday morning, and you will be able to see that on your SCD account. That is the Securities Central Depository account when you buy shares into any particular company. That market is open. You can reach out to your stockbroker. Remember, we only have 4 of them. You don't have to look around for many stockbrokers. They are licensed by Capital Markets Authority, and all they need is your registration, you having an SCD account, and the rest is absolutely history. That is MTN Uganda stock for you there. And then we can now move on to Centum, and we can see that Centum also came out as a gainer yesterday. Centum Investment gained by 3.9 Ugandan shillings and closed the day with a market price of 306.89 Ugandan shillings, which was a 1.29% growth. Well, Centum is a cross-listed company, has been listed on the exchange since February 2011, and that is about 11-12 years on the exchange. And Centum is traded with the ticker symbol CENT. That is the ticker symbol for trading of stock on Centum Investments, and their international securities identification number is KE 265. Now, Centum, in terms of value, it is the 13th most valuable stock on the Uganda Securities Exchange, and on the USE, it has about 204 billion worth of market capitalization, which is about 0.906% of the Uganda Securities Exchange equity market. As you can see, that's the graph for how the Centum stock has been performing. Well, slightly a downward movement, fair for the prices at Centum Investment Company, but we can see that they have been trying to also come back up from prices as low as 250 and right now at 306 after their daily gain. Unfortunately, there was no traded volume yesterday for this particular counter. The shares outstanding are 665 million, and that brings the total capitalization to over 204 billion Ugandan shillings. Now, after yesterday's loss, the Uganda Securities Exchange also recorded a 4.7% drop from the previous closing price of 317.88. That was when the last transaction was done. And Centum began the year, however, with a price of 444.82 Ugandan shillings, and has since lost 31% of that price valuation, ranking it the 15th on the Uganda Securities Exchange in terms of year-to-date performance. Centum is the 8th most valuable stock on the Uganda Stock Exchange over the last 3 months. That is, it's coming in position number 8. And Centum has traded a total volume of 101,400 shares that are valued at 29.4 million shillings over this period. And they have an average of about 1,610 per session that they have traded, and a volume high of only 100,000 shares that was achieved on the 19th of July 2022. And yeah, when you look at their trading volumes, you see they have days when they trade about 1,200, 100,000, 200 shillings, 200 shares, then 2,700, and so on. And that is Centum Investment Company for you. They are the non-executive director, and of course their chairman and chief executive officer is Mr. Kaberuka Donald, Dr. Kaberuka Donald, who is also he has been in the company since about 2008, and significantly has achieved a lot at Centum Investment as its CEO. Thank you very much, and of course remain with us for more of that about Centum Investment. But we're going to take another quick break. When we return, we also look at MTN counter, where it's standing at the moment, how much, of course, do we expect, how much was done yesterday, were there any volumes on MTN? You remember, MTN is one of the most active counters at the moment and is ranking very, very highly in terms of very active counters. And if you want to know more about this particular counter, you need to stay with us. After the quick break, we'll return with more of that. Stay with us, we'll be right back.